What's up, guys? So we've had Stephen A. Smith in the news recently, one for getting that monstrous 5-year, $100 million contract at ESPN, and more recently, the public confrontation he had with LeBron James at the Knicks games a few days ago. For those of you who don't know, Stephen A. Smith has been highly critical of LeBron James' handling of his son Bronny's NBA career, and this led to the confrontation when LeBron approached him the other day. Anyways, a lot of people have been commenting on this, but one particular take that caught my attention was that of Ryan Clark, and he actually gives a pretty good, unique take on this situation. Here's what he said on his Pivot podcast.
You guys are correct, man. One, I would never compare myself to LeBron James and what he's accomplished, the stress and the critique that's come along with being who he is, right? That's a different level of scrutiny and expectations that he's had as opposed to other athletes. And I do understand the father part though, right? Because I got 3 babies. Like, I'll kill for mine. More importantly, I'll die for them. And so I understand wanting to protect them. And Stephen A. said that wasn't LeBron James, the athlete. That was LeBron James, the father. But what I say there is you got to separate that, right? One of Pop's famous lines on Friday was, "No, baby, let him be a man." Mm-hmm. Bron got to let Bronny be a man. The first thing Jordan told me when he saw that, because we were together, he said, "Pop, I'd lose my shit." He said, if I did that, if someone was talking about him and I did what LeBron James did, he would lose it. He said, you got to let me be a man. And I've done that with Jordan in high school. I've done that with Jordan in college. And I'm not saying that he's where LeBron is, but LeBron did what he needed to do. But what about Bronny James? Think about what LeBron is saying, right? And I agree with this. Bronny James, for a 55th overall pick, for a guy who's played well in the G League and been on the bench and got, some minutes in the NBA, he is more negatively critiqued and analyzed than any player who would be picked in that position that does the job the way that he does it. But he's also praised more. He's also been drafted in a place that his resume probably didn't say he should have been drafted in. He's also benefited in NIL when he only averaged 4 points a game. He has marketing and commercials and publicity and followings and get paid away from the court more than Mac McClung, who then led the G League in scoring and won the dunk contest 3 times because you're LeBron James's son. So what does it do to that narrative now? Right? How does LeBron running up on Stephen A. help the narrative? It doesn't. Because the narrative was he's there because of you. He was drafted in the place he wasn't supposed to be because of you. Now, all of a sudden, we can't talk about him either. Now, imagine if LeVar Ball runs up on Stephen A. Imagine if T. Morant runs up on Stephen A. How classless we would say they are. How immature we would say they are. LeBron James is a father doing the same thing for a professional basketball player. And I get it. I 100% get it, man. Sometimes somebody does something and it's on site. Stephen A. say, why you didn't call me? Mav got my number, right? He say, Rich got my number. Because LeBron James saw him and LeBron James wanted to make that point. He wanted to show the world. He wanted to show Stephen A. And he probably wanted to show Bronny, bro, I got you. And I'll do it publicly so everybody sees it. The problem is this. You ain't run up on Skip all them years he was talking about you. You ain't run up on everybody else all that time he was talking about you. And if you're going to run up on everybody that says Bronny James didn't deserve to be drafted where he was drafted at, you're going to have to do a whole lot of damn fighting. LeBron James, more than any athlete I've ever seen, has shown a poise and composure when people are talking about him negatively like I've never seen. He's truly been an example to every athlete in the world who's harshly critiqued, to his son. But now what you've told your son is, even though I wasn't above reproach, even though no athlete that's ever played the game was above criticism, you are. And I showed you that by checking somebody because I felt like they talked about you. And that's, to me, where you got to separate father and you got to separate teammate. Because now, if I'm Bronny James, I know my dad loves me, right? But I hope, because LeBron James is a great dad, that he asks Bronny, are you okay with this? Because this is going to reflect on you more than it's going to reflect on me.
Okay, so that was RC's take on this issue, and I wholeheartedly agree with him on this because the way LeBron has approached his son's career has just been to cradle him all the way. How do you think other rookies on the team are going to perceive him when his daddy is doing everything for him and doing all the talking? I barely heard Bronny speak up during this whole situation because LeBron has been controlling the narrative. RC is 100% correct that Bronny is going to be scrutinized more than other rookies because of his father, but at the same time, he does enjoy way more benefits because of that same relationship. Let's be honest, Bronny wouldn't have been drafted or been on any NBA roster had it not been for his father. Without his father, Bronny very well might just be a G League player in and out of the NBA rosters, which is totally fine. But let's not get it twisted that Bronny has only had to deal with all the negatives of being his father's son. And when I look at the comment section on Twitter replying to RC's video, people are saying that Stephen A. Smith criticized and questioned LeBron as a father and what he chooses to do or not do. I've seen the media go after other parents of NBA players, but I didn't see or hear anyone say the same thing about T. Morant or LeVar Ball. If either of these two approached Stephen A. Smith at a game like that, they would have rightly been called out by the media, but because it's LeBron, it just seems like most people are making excuses. And lastly, at the end, when RC said that LeBron never had that same energy for Skip Bayless, that is totally 100% true. Skip has made a career out of denigrating LeBron James, and I haven't seen or heard of a time when LeBron called out Skip. He basically just ignores everything he says, so why didn't he just do the same with Stephen A? Anyways, what do y'all think about what RC had to say? Was he right or wrong in his critique?